People everywhere are starting to listen to him. He's going on French, British, Italian, Japanese television.
This is the Wide World of Weingarten.
Welcome back, Wide World of Weingarten. It is November 10th, 2:05 here in Los Angeles. I think this is the 20th episode. It's a slow Wednesday here. I got Maction tonight. I got a full NBA slate and 9 college basketball games. Nothing bet on for me through all that, disappointingly, but it's Wednesday. Always nice to take a Wednesday off every now and then. I made it till about 6:30 last night before I bet on a college basketball game. I bet Irvine +5. They lost to New Mexico State. I went to Irvine, so I was mostly an action bet. I just wanted to watch my team play some basketball, hopefully start the year with a win. They did not. I watched the end of the Akron game. I bet Akron 9-1 live. They got to be a favorite for a little bit after taking the lead on a late field goal. I played back some -131 on the other team, so I didn't lose any money there. But always a bummer when you get a big 9-1 dog like that live. They take the lead and end up losing at the end. But that's Maction. You don't bet Maction to win lots of money. You do it for the excitement. I mentioned college football this weekend. I like Ole Miss, Texas A&M under 55. That's my big college football bet for the weekend. I'm slightly lower volume this week and next week as I wait out these MLB futures when I have all this money pending. So trying to just hold back on betting too much other stuff for the time being. I looked at Wong teasers for Sunday a bit. The best numbers I saw were Steelers -2 versus the Lions, Saints +8.5 versus the Titans. Both of those games have totals at 44.5. So part of the whole Wong theory is that you're going to get more value teasing through 7 on the lower totals. Remember, there's different levels of Wong teasers, so it's not just all the same thing. On the 44.5 totals this weekend, I'd rather tease through 8.5 than say like taking the Raiders 8.5 on a 54 total paired with the Steelers or the Saints. I'd rather just do Steelers and Saints and keep it to those two. But yeah, like I said, I'm just firing a lot lower volume on sides and totals this week and next week, just due to the MLB futures. So sorry, I really don't have more there, but I just gotta wait out a lot of this stuff. Coach of the Year markets, I'm gonna go over in depth tomorrow. It requires more time to go through these numbers and find the best sort of stuff, because there's 2-3 different books you could play numbers at and kind of build a portfolio of coaches that could win. But then there's Cliff Kingsbury, who's the favorite. I don't know if anyone's gonna catch him if he wins the division. But I do have a couple of thoughts on guys who could catch them, so we'll talk about that tomorrow. Let's see. Thursday night football. We have Thursday night football tomorrow night too. Ravens Dolphins. I think Ravens are a 7.5 point favorite. I took a look at the first touchdown market today on DraftKings, and I noticed Lamar Jackson is the favorite for the first touchdown at +750, which is it's not surprising because he's Lamar Jackson and he's a great rushing threat. But it's an example of how a market like the first touchdown market has changed so much in, say, the last 3 to 5 years, and even the last 2 to 3 seasons. I've noticed a massive change in this market, especially with the legal books coming online and starting to offer it. You would never see a quarterback 7.5 to 1, let alone the favorite in the entire market to score the first touchdown a couple years ago. That was just unheard of. But the way the NFL changes, the game changes, the odds makers wise up. They've kind of figured out there's no more inefficiencies in betting quarterbacks to score the first touchdown, or at least betting a lot of these running quarterbacks to score first touchdowns. There's some other guys who, you'll get 50 to 1, 60 to 1, 75 to 1 on Ben Roethlisberger still, but that's not necessarily as good a bet as Lamar Jackson or something. So that's just an example of how a market that used to be really lucrative has changed and become less lucrative. Just wanted to point that out. If I did want to play a first touchdown guy, I like Rashad Bateman. I talked about him a little bit before. His first touchdown odds at DraftKings are 16 to 1. He was on the injured list for the first couple weeks of the season. Last 3 weeks, he's been on the field for 45, 45, and 65 offensive snaps, which is 65, 63, and 66% of the Ravens' offensive snaps by percentage. He hasn't scored a touchdown yet, but he's had 12 receptions on 20 targets. And there's not a lot of targets going around in the red zone for the Ravens. Mark Andrews and Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown get most of the looks. But I think we'll see Bateman on the field more going forward. I think 16-1 is a decent price for a Thursday night game. We'll go over futures more tomorrow. Coach of the year, see if I can find any division futures or anything in the AFC. I think the AFC is still wide open, so I really gotta look at the AFC title odds a bit deeper. European Tour tees off tonight, 11 p.m. Pacific from Dubai for the Aviv Dubai Championship. It's a $1.5 million prize pool, warm up for next week's European Tour Championship. They'll have a much stronger field next week, $9.5 million prize pool. I bet Dean Burmeister at 30-1. He's 25-1 at Circa, 25.83 at Bookmaker right now. Hooray for closing line value, I guess. I haven't been anything on the PGA Tour. I thought I'd find something, but mostly I just saw Maverick McNeely at 36-1. I'm looking at 45-1 there for McNeely. Haven't found that yet, so nothing on me for the PGA Tour. I would like to dive into some more top 5, 10s, and 20s going forward on the PGA Tour. I just haven't had a ton of time to really do all of that yet. That's probably more going to happen towards January when we get around to the beginning of the new PGA season. But there's a lot of good stuff going on in golf. The Senior Tour has their champion event this week. There's some really low odd sort of favorites there. Phil Mickelson, Jim Furyk, guys who basically are still on the PGA Tour on occasion, who cross over to the old guys tour. They're the favorites. I think Mickelson's like 3-1. Furyk's like 5-1. Nothing super exciting there. I looked at Ernie Els. I think he was like 16-1 or 20-1. He was a little farther down the list. I thought he had good odds. He's still a good golfer, even at a slightly advanced age. But couldn't bring myself to get into the Senior Tour this week. Really just felt like I was throwing money on something I wasn't just totally into, and I'm just really focused on the MLB futures till Wander Franco on Monday, and the NL Cy Young a little later in the week. I'm really excited for NL Cy Young with Wheeler and Burns. I'm alive to 2 of the 3 finalists there. I'm alive to Franco for AL Rookie of the Year, and I'm alive to Soto. I would really like to win one of those bets. Ideally 2 would be nice, and don't want to get super greedy and say I hope I win all 3. I'll settle for 2. I'd settle for 1, honestly, but 2's always better. I think I'm pretty confident. I feel good about Franco. I understand Rosarena is the favorite. I won't be surprised if he wins. I'm not saying Franco's going to win. I'm just saying I'm feeling good about our chances. There's going to be an upset. I think that's the most likely. But yeah, we'll talk more about that. If I see the odds move, we'll talk about it. If I see anything leak, we'll definitely talk about that, or what looks like a leak, hopefully. Last year, I think there were some leaks. If you looked at the Bet Online numbers the day or two before the announcements, I mentioned before, like Trevor Bauer had gone to minus 1,000, and I thought that race with Darvish was a lot closer last year. So if we do find any leaks, I will point them out. Hopefully they're going our way. So yeah, Dean Burmeister on the European Tour this week. Steelers Saints Wong on Sunday, and Ole Miss under 55.5 on Saturday. Rashad Bateman first touchdown 16-1 Thursday night. That's my exciting stuff so far for the weekend. Much lower volume than usual, but That's just the way it is sometimes. And I'll be back tomorrow. We'll go over NFL futures. We'll go over the player futures in depth, and I will dive into the Coach of the Year market, which I think is the market that has the most value again this week. So thank you for listening. I'll be back tomorrow.